I woke up to the sun streaming through the windows. The curtains were open, which caused the whole room to be bright. I glanced down to see Gray still asleep on my chest. Well, that's a first. He's normally awake before me. This gave me the opportunity to think about what he told me last night. I knew from the stories I heard before that his father was a horrible individual, but I would have never thought he would take his own daughter's life, just because she was going to be next in line for the throne. I can't even imagine what was going through that little girl's head. The man that's supposed to protect you from all the monsters is the one that actually hurt you. As I told Gray, she's in a better place now with her mother away from that monster. It must have been so hard for Gray losing both his sister and his mother in 10 years at such a young age. It just shows what a strong person he is. It just angers me that his father has never been held accountable. He literally took away that girl's chance of life and never saw any consequences. Gray said he was slowly building a case on his father. When he has time, I know firsthand that the job he does, it's kind of a rare occurrence for him to have some spare time. Maybe I could help. I mean, I'm off official duties until Rupert is tracked down for my safety. I don't think I would really need to leave the castle to build my case on his father. But also, no one apart from a select group of people know his father is still alive, so no one would know if I start to build a case. This would be helping Gray, but also it will finally bring justice to that little girl, but also to all the others that man has hurt. For instance, Rupert's mate. Yes, he might want to hurt me, but I can't help but feel sorry for him at same time. Now this all sounds good in my head, but I know it's a mission I can't do alone. I think I know the perfect person to help me. Gray told me I can mind link anyone I please due to being queen. Do I just mind link how I normally would? Hi Eric, hopefully I've managed to work out this whole mind link anyone thing, but if you're available, I need to have a private meeting with you, I say, hoping he heard, and I somehow managed to figure it out. You don't know how great it is to hear that, ma'am. I'll be around in the hour, he responds quickly. I smile to myself, quite pleased that I did it. Look back down at a sleeping Gray who looks so peaceful. Eric said he'd be here within the hour, which means I should probably start to get ready, but Gray was so upset last night that he needs to rest. I decide to try and escape his grip without waking him. I begin to slowly slide out of bed, going as slow as I could. I place his head on the pillow and continue to move my body until I'm completely out of bed. Well, that went easier than I thought. I make sure he's comfortable before getting ready for the busy day I had ahead of me. I walk out the bathroom fully ready to see a sleeping Gray. He looked so cute in his sleep. Eric mind linked me, telling me he was about 5 minutes away. I shouldn't leave without telling Gray where I am. I don't want him to wake up with no sign of me, but once again he looks so peaceful it would be a shame to wake him up. He'll also want to know what I'm doing, and until I'm fully invested into this case, I don't want to tell him. I decide to leave him a note on my pillow telling him where I was, but also not giving away what I was fully doing. Dear Gray, sorry I wasn't there when you woke up, but I have an early meeting with Eric. I hope you're feeling okay after last night, and just know it's perfectly okay if you take it easy today. I would have woke you up, but you looked so peaceful that I couldn't bring myself to do it. I don't know if I'll see you at lunch, but I will for dinner. Have a great day with love, Clara XX. I placed the note on the pillow while also placing a soft kiss on his head, thankfully that didn't wake him up. I quietly make my way outdoor and towards the main part of the castle. Over the last few months, I've managed to learn how to get around this place. Don't get me wrong, there's times when I'm at a loss and each of the corridors look the same, but I'm getting there and that's a start. On my journey, I pass a few maids and butlers who bow their heads in respect. That's also something I've got used to at first. It was so weird to have everyone bow their heads at you whenever you walked past. At times it was even intimidating. But I've grown to become accustomed to it and also make sure to send them a smile. Honestly, Queen, life isn't as tough as I thought it would be. It takes a lot to get used to, but once you do, it's actually great. We aren't having the private meeting in mine and Gray's office. I don't want to risk the fact of Gray walking in and finding out what I'm doing. I know I'm kind of going behind his back, but I know what he's going to say. He will tell me it's too dangerous and will stop me, but once I've already done it, there's nothing he can do. Eric told me the castle has many secret rooms that hardly ever get used. He gave me the directions to the one he says probably no one has stepped foot in for 20 years. I make my way down the dark corridors until I arrive at the door, room 528. That's the one. I opened the door to see Eric stood in the middle of the dark interrogation-like room. He had a black walking cane on the side his bad leg was, but apart from that he looked exactly the same. "Eric, you look great," I exclaimed, closing the door behind me. He smiles, bowing his head before speaking. "Thank you, ma'am. My leg is healing perfectly, which means I can ditch this cane soon, but I see we've both been in the wars." He smiles, gesturing to my arm in the cast, which I keep forgetting is in there. "I heard about the second attack from Rupert. I hope the king is able to find him soon." "Yeah, this comes off in a few days, which I can't wait for, and the king is trying his best, but Rupert is one clever man in more ways than others now are." "You sure you're ready to come back is what I want to do? It's a lot, I say. Just getting into it. If he wasn't, that would be fine, but also difficult for me. Truthfully, ma'am, I am so ready to return to work. I love my job, and being stuck at home just sitting there, I hated it. My mate was doing all she could, but she knows me. That's why I was glad when you contracted me this morning." He smiles, a genuine smile. "If I knew he missed it so much, I would have contracted him weeks ago." "Great, now let's get to it." I smile, walking over to the little desk in the middle of the room. I sit on one side of the desk while he sat on the other. I know how crazy this must be, as him being so secretive, but what we're about to do no one can know about, not even the king. I start to say. He gives me a confused look, but I couldn't tell him. Unless I knew he wouldn't tell a soul. Now I know I can use orders, and I never want to cause it seems so horrible, but this is different, so I order you not to tell a soul what we're about to talk about or anything about the case we are going to take on, I say. Changing my voices slightly as I spoke, he immediately sits up straight in his chair, bowing his head. "Yes, ma'am, this conversation and any case we make after this point will not be discussed with anybody," he says, bowing his head once again. This makes me sigh, a huge sigh of relief, finally being able to tell someone what I want to do. "Okay, well, not many people know this, but the king had an older sister. Now you're probably wondering why I said had his father murdered his older sister when she was only 5 years old so she wouldn't get the throne. I tell him, which immediately makes his face just hold shock. Yep, I had the same reaction. His father, as he was king, never got held accountable for the awful thing he did, but also he never got held accountable for the awful things he did to many other people. That's why we're gonna be bringing justice to those people," I say with a smile. Saying it out loud felt great. "If I may, ma'am, isn't the king's father deceased?" he asks with an even more questioning look. That's exactly what I and many others thought. For the public and many others, yes, he is, but he is actually locked in the dungeons of the castle. When the king took the throne, he arrested his father, and that is where has been since, awaiting for his trial. The king is trying to put together, but due to his schedule he has never had the time to do so, I explain. Eric sits back in his chair, trying to absorb all the information I just told him. "So we're putting a pin in the case of your fathers and uncles and focusing on this?" he asked, which was actually the next part of the conversation I had in mind. Over the last few weeks, I've been able to remember more of the memories from my past that I blocked out. The most interesting thing I remembered was the men that used to help the king's father commit such horrible crimes, where I start waiting for him to finish my sentence, for he face once again holds shock. "Your dad and Cyrus?" he asks, which I nod with a smile. I'm glad I'm not the only one that had that reaction when I found all this out. Now I don't know about Cyrus, but I reckon I could persuade my dad into testifying against the king's father. In return, he will be given immunity from any of the crimes he helped the king's father in, but also the crimes he committed alongside Cyrus, I say, which makes Eric once again give me a look. This time I didn't know what the look meant. "You're giving him complete immunity?" "He has done many horrible crimes with Cyrus, such as Mr. Roberts," he says, which was a problem that came up in my mind when I thought about this. Trust me, that's something I was going back and forth about for a while. But the king's father is a much bigger fish in the sea of evil people. If we can take him down and keep him there, that's a huge win and justice for all those people he hurt over the years, I say. But take a look at the desk for a second. I believe my father has changed. I know. That's just me saying. It. And as his dog hater, I wanna believe that, but I know it's a fact. I say, looking up at Eric, which Full eyes. You know what, ma'am, I agree with you 100%. Taking his father down will bring so much justice to all of those, and he'll be proud on being one of the people that brought them justice. He smiles, which immediately makes me want to cry on the spot, but I manage to hold it in just for right now. Now, as your advisor, it's my job to schedule all of this with men. Past few months of working with you, ma, I can guess you, W, and to get the ball rolling immediately. He smiles, which makes me laugh a little. That was very much correct. We can't visit your father until the afternoon as we need to get the security ready, but also order them to tell no one about your visit, he says, pulling out a notebook and pen. This will not take long, but I can tell by that look on your face you have more you want to get done, he says, which a raised eyebrow. You would be right in thinking that I smile before giving him the list of other things I want to get done. It's good to. A few more hours have passed since mine and Eric's first meeting. I did have a long list of things I've wanted to get done, but as he wasn't here, I had no idea how to get around it myself. First off, I needed him to start the list of new officials to replace the current officials. Since the meeting I was in, it was clear those men were not up to the standard. Eric was able to suggest a few names off the top of his head, but told me he'd look more into that. I know the officials will be so annoyed, but I really couldn't care less. Now, secondly, I did some digging of my own and found the original photo of Gray's family, the one with Matilda, and I had Eric replace the current one in the hall and put the one with his sister up. He'll show that to Gray later. I hope he likes it. The last thing I wanted Eric to do was track down my first advisor, Mason's wife, when she ran past the guards a few weeks after I got here. That stuck in my mind. He told me he'd try his best, but he wasn't promising anything, but I knew Eric, he is the one person that would be able to track her down. The time had come for me to see my dad. I thought I would be nervous, but I wasn't. I knew what I was there for and hopefully what his reply would be. I haven't saw Gray all day, but I told him I'd see him at dinner, but I didn't know if I was going to be late or not. We're just about to head down into the dungeons, ma'am. MindLink will not work down here, so if you need to contact anyone, I'd do it now. Eric tells me as we stop outside a metal door in the basement of the castle. I should probably tell Gray what I'm doing just in case he gets worried that he can't get through to me. I can't for talk very long, but I know I should tell you what's happening so you don't worry. I'm going to have a meeting with my dad down in the dungeons of the castle. Don't worry, Eric has set up all the security so I won't get hurt. See you at dinner. Love you. I MindLink him before following Eric in before he could reply. I knew he would tell me. OT to go in. And led down a dark corridor which was very tight. We had to walk in single file. The only noise you could hear was the dripping of water hitting the ground. It was something out of a horror movie. We continue on our journey until we reach a large opening. Cells just lined the walls, some even high up. A single guard stood at each cell door, who all bowed their heads as I walk in. This place was horrible. Is this really where they keep the worst people from being in society? I had many guards with me who could now all circle me. Eric stood beside me as we continued to make our way through the dungeons, which I actually couldn't see anymore due to all the guards. We come to a stop where the door is opened and I'm let in first. Sat at the table with his hands cuffed behind his back was my dad. His face held pure shock as I walk in. Eric whispers, "Hell, be just outside before the door is closed," and I'm left alone with my dad. "Clara, what are you doing here?" He asks, worry in his tone. Standing here for a second, I didn't know myself. "It's not safe down here, especially as you're a woman and the queen," he stated, which causes me to nod then look around at him. I know the answer already, but I have to ask. You look so uncomfortable in those chains behind your back. If I tell the guards to let you sit with your hands unchained, you won't try to attack me? I ask, looking at him. He immediately shakes his head, looking kind of hurt. "I would never hurt you, you're my little girl," he says, which makes me smile. I tell the guards to unchain his hands, which they do before leaving. "What happened to your arm?" he asks, looking down at my cast. Everyone seems to bring that up when they see me. "There was an explosion in the castle made by a really bad guy. I was flown back, but I'm okay. I get this off soon." I smile, holding up my cast. He looks down after I explained. "I heard the explosion, and I've been told Rupert Bynes did it, a name I know." He sighs, still looking down at the table. "Yes, it's a name we're about to talk about. Now, you're more comfortable than you were. I need to tell you the reason behind me coming here. I'm just gonna get right to it, 'cause this place freaks me out," I say. walking over sitting on the chair across from him. This is the closest we've sat since I was little since I arrived at the castle. I've been having flashbacks of when I was little, some of them not very nigh. But yesterday I remembered something. It changed everything. I thought it was the night Cyrus helped the former king burn RTS house down. I tells him, he looks confused, said for a second, but realization hits, he sighs looking down. As I continued, you were so different to what I remembered you to be. I always thought you didn't care about us. Me and Kyle were just inconveniences to you, but we weren't. You actually cared. I say, tears beginning to prick my eyes as I spoke. He looked up, moving as if he wanted to hold my hands, but he stops himself. I still do care about you two. I know I wasn't the kind to show my emotions, and I was far from being a good father, but I never stopped loving or caring about you and your brother. The night when we had to leave you was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. When you walked out the door with your mother, I just broke down in tears. I'd let my whole world be taken fro. Monsieur may due to my broth. He says tears now. In his eyes I slow. Why and rather cautious. Sly move. My hands across the table to his. He looks up immediately, holding onto my hands, allowing the tears to fall. I just look into his eyes, seeing every emotion he was holding was true. After remembering all those memories, I don't want you to be stuck in here. I want to build a relationship with you and Mumbut. I can't just let you leave and not help me, so I know you actually want to have a relationship with me and you're not just doing it to get away with all your crimes. I say. His face immediately holds shock, but also a hint of happiness. I will do anything it takes to have a relationship with you, Clara. Just name it. I don't care if I have to testify against Cyrus and be named as snitch. Being in here has given me so much time to think and reflect on my life. I want nothing to do with that man again. He pulled me away from my children just because he didn't have any of his own. Want nothing more. And to start building this relationship back, and if that means double-crossing him, I'll do it. He tells me for once in his life with an honest look. It's not Cyrus I want you to testify against. It's the king's father, Preston, I say, which immediately makes his eyes go wide from shock. The former king, I thought he was dead, he says, which is a statement I've heard a lot today. He isn't dead. Has actually locked in a cell here, awaiting a case to be filed against him for all the horrible things he did. I won't get into all the details, but I know you and Cyrus did a few jobs for him, and that's what I want you to testify against, I say, which makes him sit back a little, but he still had a tight grip on my hands. If you do, you'll have full immunity from any crime you did for him, but he also full immunity from any crimes you committed with Cyrus. You'll be free to go home to mum and to start a relationship with your kid. If you want, I say. But he immediately smiles and nods, sitting up straight. Like I said, I will do anything to have even the smallest relationship with you and Kyle. Just tell me what to do, he says, smiling from ear to ear. I'll get my advisor to tell you the next steps, but first I'll have some guards take you to the safe house where Mum is, where you'll stay until the trial is over. Smile, which immediately makes his eyes well up and he looks down at the desk. He begins to actually full-on cry sitting at the desk. I get up from my seat, walking over, and without even thinking about it, I wrap my one good arm around him where his arms immediately hold on to me so tightly. Thank you, Clara, thank you so much, he cried, holding me tightly as he spoke. I'm so sorry for all the pain I put you through as a child. I promise, I'll make it all up to you, he cries. I hold back tighter, telling him
After a long chat with my dad, I was being let out the prison. I told him what the next steps were and he said he was more than happy to help. As I'm walking out the prison has being taken to where Mom is, they haven't saw each other in a long time, so I know how happy that will make her. As soon as I walk out the door to the dungeon where the basement is, Gray was running down the stairs, his face holding relief when he saw me. Eric says he'll see me tomorrow before walking upstairs. Gray wastes no time wrapping me in a tight hug, holding me there, but freezes. You have a scent of another man on you, he kind of growls out, his arms still wrapped around me. Don't worry, that's my dad. I smile with a roll if the eyes he pulls away, seeming to calm down a little. I do want to change out of these as that place was not a very nice or clean place, but before I do, I want to show you something. I say, taking his hand, but he stops me. He shakes his head where I send him a look. Even if that scent is your father's, I don't want my mate smelling like another man. You will change first, he instructs me before pulling me out the basement and towards the bedroom to change and to let the dim warm hush of our private space wrap around USA Euro every slow touch acquiesce testament to our unbreakable bond. Once he was satisfied that I no longer smelt like someone else, even though again it was my own father, he allowed me to take him to the thing I wanted to show him. I honestly didn't know how he was going to react, but it was worth a shot. I walk him through the castle, smiling at the people who bow their heads. Gray just follows behind me, also smiling as we went. Remember what I told you, my love? I knew you would get so confident within yourself, he said as we went. I just sent him a smile, but I also have to agree. When I first arrived here a few months ago, I would not have the confidence to walk so freely around the castle and smile at everyone. I think as I'm queen, I was kind of thrown in at the deep end, which turned out to be the thing that made me change into this person. In no time, we arrive at the door leading to the corridor of the family portraits. He sends me a confused look as the door gets opened and I take him in. Once we arrive at the portrait, he gasps from surprise. Tears immediately build up in his eyes as he looked. This photo was so much better on the old one. Gray looked terrified, but in this one he had a huge smile on his little face, holding hands with his sister, who also looked so happy. She was so incredibly cute and looked so happy and full of life. She didn't deserve to have that all taken away from her by her own father. I wonder what incredible things she could have achieved if she was given the chance to be here longer. We may never know. I looked into it and found out you took a family portrait before she died. I had some people do some digging in the storage and found it. She deserves to be seen and remembered. I smile, looking over at Gray, who was still crying. The officials are not going to happy about this, he cries, still looking over at the photo. This makes me smile. Well, it's a good thing me and Eric replaced them, I say, which immediately makes him look over at me shocked. I told them back in the meeting I would persuade you to replace them. My persuading was very effective. We have chosen people from all different backgrounds and genders. We now have the right people to make decisions on important matters. I smile sweetly at them. I told those men back there what I as planning. They obviously didn't take me seriously. Thank you so much, my love. Honestly, I have been running from those feelings about my past, but when talking with you, it's really helped me slowly start to accept and move on. He smiles, holding me tightly in his arms. Matilda would have loved you. He smiles as I take a look up at the little girl. Well, I am very lovable, I joke with laugh. Immediately laughs, shaking his head a little, but no, what happened to her was so awful and unjustifiable. We're gonna sure her legacy lives on and she's never forgotten. I smile as she's arms tighten around me, placing a kiss on the top of my head. So this is what you were getting up to today. When I found your note, I did worry a little, but I knew Eric would look after you. He smiles, looking down at me. This and a few other things I mutter, still not wanting him to find out about the whole case and building. He pauses for a second before moving me around to look at his face. He places both hands on the side of my face, looking at me. I know what you are doing. I know you did not tell me so. I would not get upset. But I am going to allow you to build the case on my father. I do not want you to go back to your official duties until Rupert is located and taken care of. If you and Eric are occupied doing this, I know you will be safe, and it will also bring some sort of justice. To Matilda, he tells me, which immediately shocks me to my core. I didn't think he would be okay with this. I just need you to promise me you will not put yourself in danger and you will not leave these walls. Do all your investigation work within the castle, he tells me, which I am so down for. I'm a little worried about leaving the castle with Rupert still on the loose. You and Eric make a good team, not as good as us though, but I know with both of your smarts and your heart, you will do brilliantly working his case, most likely better than I would be able to. Just keep me informed, okay? He smiles. I immediately nod, planting a kiss on his lips, smiling. Yes, I have something to do. My stomach growls, reminding me I haven't ate or drank anything since dinner yesterday. I've been so busy with other things that it slipped my mind. I did this a lot back at my now brother's pack. Once I nearly fell down the stairs as I didn't eat. Kyle was not happy. Well, that will not do. Come on, food now, Gray says, taking my hand, pulling me out the door. I take one more look at Matilda. I'll make sure he pays for what he.
It's been almost a week since I met with my dad and a lot has changed. Firstly, I got my cast off my arm, which was incredible. It felt weird for the first few days, but now it feels like it's almost back to normal. It served as a constant reminder of Rupert and the attack, but now it's gone. I feel like I can move past it and get on with the more important things in my life. Eric and I have been working hard on the case against Gray's father. We just need to find more witnesses that will testify against him when it goes to trial. We have my dad, but Eric told me we'd need a few more to really make people see what horrible man Preston was and mostly likely still is. Gray and I have hardly seen each other this past week, as we've both been way too busy, one wrapped up with building the case on Daisy and finding Rupert. Either I'm with Eric working into the night or has with Josh doing the same. I knew I'd be busy when I took this job, but not this much. But I know it's for a good cause and the work I'm doing is going to help so many people, but I will also feel so good about myself once it's done. Gray was doing his shirt up as I walk into the bedroom after getting ready myself. I send him a little smile before heading to the bedside table to get my stuff. "What have you got planned for today, my love?" he asks from behind me. I didn't actually know, Eric tells me when I get there at this point. "Still working your father's case. Eric's trying to track down any witnesses as we can't just use my dad because it won't cut it on its own," I say, looking at him for a brief second before going back to what I was doing. "It is better to have as many witnesses as you can. We have not seen each other much, my love," he tells me, looking at me with a sad expression. "When we first met, I promised you I would set time aside so this wouldn't happen." He sighs, running his hand through his hair. Stressed out, I have also missed spending time with him, but our schedules never added up. "We're both at fault there, Gray. When all this is over, we should take a mini holiday," I joke with a laugh. He laughs too, shaking his head as I make it to the door. I had 2 other meetings with Eric, one to talk more about Gray's father and a second to discuss what we're gonna do with Cyrus. Right now has sat in prison with no charges. If he was able to get a lawyer, they'd have a field day. That is why I made everyone believe my father was dead. Dead men cannot ask for lawyers, he informs me, which was true. That's probably how has been able to keep him in there as long as he has. With what Eric and I have found out, no lawyers would want to take him as a client, I say, facing the window. "I'm sure I saw something move in that bush." Gray sends me a questioning looks, snapping me out of that thought. "We've been doing some digging into your father to get as many facts as we can. Let's just say what he did to Rupert wasn't the first time he did something that like him gla. He has in prison is a all I can say, I expla." And once again seeing something move in the bush, maybe it's an animal or something. "This is why it's better you and Eric work my father's case," he explains, but his talking kind of goes over my head as I was still staring at the window. Something emerging from the bush throws my "it could be an animal" idea out the window with the thing gray. I say, staring in the eyes of what I saw. Gray turns around, giving me a confused look. "Rupert, Gray. Rupert," I say just as the barrel of a gun is netted in my direction. Before I could comprehend what was happening, Gray lunges at me, throwing me to the floor. Immediately loud noises fill the room as he shields me with his body. I hold tightly onto Gray as I feel pieces of wall start to land on us. Gray picks me up, holding me flat against his body while still on the floor, and starts shimmering over to the bathroom door. He sprints to the bathroom, closing the door behind him where the noises continue. It moved so we were nowhere near the door. He still had me tightly in his grip as the noises suddenly stop. I look up at Gray, who holds his finger up to his mouth. I nod, terrified, staring at the side of the door that I could see. He reaches over slowly, locking the bathroom door as we hear footsteps from the bedroom. "Where the fuck did she go?" I hear a man's voice say, which makes freight just take over my senses. I remain quiet, hiding my face in Gray's chest, whose face was blank, meaning he was mind-linking someone. "Please be sending for help." Many other voices start to erupt from outside the door. This is probably the help Gray was mind-linking for. Immediately, more footsteps were heard outside the bedroom as the shouts got louder and louder. Hes escaping on foot through the castle. One shouts as more and more voices and chaos fill the bedroom. "Are you hurt?" Gray asks me, looking down. I shake my head, still terrified, looking at the bathroom door behind him. He pulls away slightly, looking me up and down, checking himself to see if I had an injuries. That was honestly one of the most terrifying experiences of my whole life, and it's not even over yet. Are you hurt? I ask, looking up at him, where he immediately shakes his head as the bathroom door begins to get kicked open. Immediately, I am pulled behind him, where a deep growl rumbled from his chest, staring at the door. It's okay, it's me. Rupert's escaped, but guards are still trying to track him, I hear Josh say without actually seeing him. Gray seems to relax a little slowly, taking my hand in his. I follow him out the bathroom and into the destroyed bedroom. The wall basically was on a wall. A huge hole stood where the window used to be. Guards coming in and out. The bedroom door where I was stood basically was non-existent. I would have been a goner if I remained there. We need an urgent meeting now. Gray's voice boomed throughout the castle, so loud that a piece of glass hanging from what was left of the window fell and smashed onto the floor. Can I join you in this meeting? I whisper as Josh nods, getting everyone who needs to be there well to be there. You are not leaving my side, was all Gray says as he begins to lead me out the bedroom and towards whatever meeting we're attending. In less than 10 minutes, we were in a boardroom with many important people sat around a table. Guards were inside and outside the windows and doors of the room. I would say I felt safe, but being in this place I wasn't feeling safe at all. I want answers. How did that man enter the castle? Gray shouts at everyone sat at the table. I was sat facing the floor with my hands in my lap, trying to come to terms with what just happened. At this moment, sir, we don't have the answers for you, a man says, which I think he immediately regrets. Gray smashes his hand so hard off the wooden table it cracks a little. You do not have the answers. My mate was almost killed and you don't have any answers for me. I should jump over this table and beat them out of you, he shouts. I've never saw him this angry before. Off the top of my head, sir, I know there is a guard shift change a few minutes before the attack. He most likely snuck through. Then another man suggests this man was being logical, but Gray didn't see it that way. I trusted you all with the protection of my mate. I appointed you all this position as I assumed you were the best of all the fighters and guards around, but due to your incompetence, I nearly lost my mate. Gray says a little calmer but still shouting quite loudly. Now I want you all to go out there and do your investigations. I demand answers within the next 12 hours. If I do not get them, it will not be pretty for any of you, he growls out before dismissing them all. Not a single one remained in the room. 30 seconds later, I get out of my chair, just walking around. The fear I felt back in the room I was still feeling. What if I didn't see moving in the bush? What if he found us in the bathroom? What if he manages to slip through the security once again? That will not happen, my love. You are not leaving my side, Gray says, snapping me out my thoughts while wrapping his arm around my shoulders. I don't feel safe anymore, Gray, I say, tears building up in my eyes. I've always felt safe being here, but now this, I don't think I'm gonna feel safe until I know is fully gone. Gray sighs, looking down at the floor before calling Josh back in. He left when the others did, probably reading the vibe from the room. As much as it pains me to say, Clara is not safe here until Rupert is captured. Until that happens, or until I am certain he will not be entering the castle, Clara and I will be staying in one of the safe houses, away from here, Gray explains, which was new for me. I didn't know they had safe houses. Only authorized persons will be given access to its location. We have carte and twerk. We need to fulfill, but I am not willing to leave my mate. We will just have to figure a way to get the work don't without being in he castle. I was going to suggest you two stay at one of the safe houses. Don't worry about work. You know ill sort of way for it to get done. I'm taking a guess and saying me and Eric are two of the authorized persons. He asks, which Gray nods at. I feel tears running down my cheeks, and I continue to look at the floor. You didn't want Josh to see me crying? Yes, Clara and Eric are still working my father's case, which will be perfect distraction for Clara. Gray says, rubbing his thumb over my shoulder. I don't think his father's case will be the thing distracting me. I'll get your transport to the safe house. He arranged, I hear Joe say before his footsteps leave the row. This left just Gray. I alone. You have nothing to worry about, my love. I promise that man will never come in contact with you again. I will not leave your side for even a second, Gray says, wiping my tears off my cheeks as he spoke. I take a deep breath in, looking at his face, smiling a little. I guess our mini holiday came early. I smile with a tiny laugh. He smiles, shaking his head before I'm wrapped tightly in his arms. It's the morning after all that chaos. We managed to arrive in the safe house just before nightfall. They first wanted us to drive in a car up there, but as they were doing the routine check of the vehicle before we went anywhere near it, they found an explosive. Gray didn't want to take any chances, so we went in wolf form. It was great. It's the first time since becoming queen I've been able to shift. I felt like a free wolf. My wolf cheers in my head causes me to laugh a little. Safe house is actually bigger than I first thought it would be. When you picture a safe house, you imagine a tiny house in the middle of a wood, right? This is entirely different. It's a huge mansion right in the heart of a huge town. Once again, I never imagined it to be like this. Ray explained this is the safest safe house around. Rupert's gonna find out we're in a safe house and start looking. He's going to expect what I expected, the safe house to be in the middle of nowhere, hidden, not a huge mansion in the middle of a huge town, which I have to say was a pretty smart move. Eric came by last night with Josh. He pulled me aside and told me he's been doing some digging and found something mind-blowing, but he wouldn't actually tell me what he found and said I had to wait until tomorrow, which doesn't annoy me in the slightest. Note the sarcasm. All he would tell me was I couldn't tell Gray. This just made me question him more about this mind-blowing information he found, but he continued to hold up and said I had to wait until, well, today now. Last night I caught Gray standing by the window in our bedroom. He looked as though he was guarding it just in case Rupert showed up. I had to force him to come back to bed to get some sleep, which I highly doubt he did. Has been glued at my side since the incident happened, which I don't mind that much since I feel the safest when I'm around him. He literally saved my life yesterday. That is my job, my love, he says, snapping me out my thoughts. I was sat on the bed just staring into space while he got ready. For the first time, it wasn't into a suit, he explained. In order to blend in, he has to wear normal clothes. We have to stay away from the windows as much as possible in the mornings. If someone walking past the gates looked in and saw this huge man decked out in an expensive suit, it would catch their attention. But if he looks like everyone else, they probably wouldn't give it a second thought if they don't see his face. That is, he still looked smart in the normal clothes. He wore black skinny jeans with a plain white shirt. The shirt I thought wasn't really normal clothes, but he refused to wear anything that wasn't a shirt. At least he wore the jeans, even though the look on his face told a different story when he saw the jeans. I think they actually suit him. Enjoy this while it lasts, my love. Once we leave this place, I am burning this trousers, he growls out, looking over at me once again. I just laugh, laying back staring at the ceiling. It's good I don't wear posh outfits. I smile, looking at the clothes I was wearing. I wore a white corset-like top tucked into dark blue jeans, something I normally would wear. That looks incredible on you, my love, but this is not my style and will never be my style, he informs me, finishing the last button of his shirt. I just laugh as the bell rings for the house. Ray immediately gets on high alert, holding his finger up for me to wait. I sit up a little, my heart rate picking up as Gray inches closer to the window. He peeps his head out a little where I see him stop, tensing. That must be a good sign. It is Josh and Eric, he tells me, making me sigh a sigh of relief. He walks over, holding his hands out. I smile, taking his hand where he pulls me out of bed to stand up. He smiles, placing a kiss on my head before leading me out the bedroom. On the way, we pass many guards who didn't actually look like guards. They were also in normal clothes, so they would blend in. As we approached the entrance, Josh and Eric stood there. Eric had his hands full with folders. As he looks up at Gray, his face changes, but it's emotion I can't place. In no time, Eric was leading me to one of the many meeting rooms. For some reason, he was taking me to the one at the very back. As soon as he closes the door behind us, he seems to calm down. He places the folders on the table while taking a moment to collect himself. Eric, is everything okay? I ask, giving him a questioning look. He went to nod his head but quickly shakes it instead. As I told you yesterday, ma'am, I mean Clara, he begins. I told him he doesn't have to call me ma'am anymore. We basically spend nearly every waking hour with each other. Ma'am is really formal. I was doing more digging into the king's father when I stumbled across some information on the king's mother. Now I know you told me she died, he says, opening one of the folders. Spelling things out. Yes, she died when the house she was in exploded, I begin to say, but she shakes his head. I give him a total confused look. Gray saw her walk into the house, I tell him, as I think his mind was coming up with a different conclusion. Indeed, the king did see his mother walk into the house, but that does not mean she was destroyed along with the house. he says, holding a piece of paper in his hands, but doesn't show it to me. Are you telling me she somehow survived that explosion, then doesn't come back home to her son, I ask, trying to show him how ridiculous his theory sounded instead of him seeing that he nods his head. I do not believe she was in the house when it exploded. He tells me point blank Gray saw her walk into the house and not back out of it. The king and his father were right outside the house. She didn't leave it, I tell him once again. I think Gray would remember seeing his mother walking out the house and away. The king and all the guards were stationed at the front of the house. That house had a back door that led into this huge wooded area, he begins to explain while unfolding the paper in his hands, which actually turned out to be a huge map. He walks over to the table, moving the folders to the side. The map was so huge, it took up most of the table. I take a look down at the map to see red marker covered some parts. He points to a red circle in the middle of it. This is the house the king's mother was seen walking in. If you look not even a mile away, there is this vast wood spanning for miles, he says, moving his finger along what he says is woods. Just because there was a back door in the house doesn't mean his mother left the house and went into the forest. If that did happen, someone would have seen her and someone would know where she is now, I say, taking a seat on a chair beside the table. His theory just didn't make sense to me. Of course, I want to believe that Gray's mom survived that fire. I know how much Gray has gone through over the lose of his mother. Even him talking about it all these years later makes him break down into tears. But there's no evidence that I know of that would support what Eric's saying. If she did indeed run away to leave his father, everyone thought he was dead. Wouldn't you think she'd come back after discovering he was gone? That's just it. People did see her walk out the back door and into the woods she ran to flee his father. Yes, everyone believes the former king is dead, but she's his mate. She would know if something happened to him. For example, if you went missing, the king would feel if you were alive still. He goes on to explain, well, let's hope that never happens, especially with the events that have taken place recently. Oh, further my point, for still being there was never a body discovered in the house, he says, it doesn't make sense to me at first, boo. Then I start think, maybe as the explosion was so bad her body just went up with it. Gray's father was badly injured from the blast and he wasn't even inside the house. I say, just trying to debunk this theory anyway. I was slowly starting to lean towards Eric's theory. Even with this type of blast, there would still be something of the former queen left behind in the rubble, but there wasn't, he says, pulling photos out, placing them onto the table. It was photos of a really burned house, which I'm guessing is the house which is said to be the house that Gray's mom died in. The place was just black and crumbling. What a horrible accident. Here is what we know about the fire. The fire was said to be set by the former queen herself. She turned the gas on and put a lighter on the floor. This gave her a 2-minute window to leave the house, where witnesses saw her run out and into the woods. He explains, pulling more papers out with look like witness reports. Her death had to be investigated and due J. Oh, the lack of evidence. Or the really mounting evidence. She is labeled as a missing person rather than deceased. That is why there is no death certificate, as the officials couldn't conclusively say she was died, he explains, which makes me stand up and start to pace. I somehow had to absorb all this information and try to make sense of it. The king would have been told this, but he refused to see anything about his mother's case in his mind. His mother was dead, and he didn't want to look any more into it. So the case was left, but it's all here and quite clear. The former queen is still alive and is in hiding, he says. Dropping the final bombshell, everything he's saying is making sense but also not. If she was alive, why wouldn't she try to send any message to her son about her still being alive, as she already lost a daughter? I would think she'd want her son to still be in her life. If she hates her mate that much, why leave your only son alone with him? I never met his mother, but with the stories Gray told me, she was an incredible mother and did anything she could to protect her children even after the horrible accident with her oldest daughter. Clara, I know where she's hiding, Eric tells me, which is just another huge bombshell. I just stare at him dumbfounded. Okay, so this isn't a theory anymore, she's alive. I need to tell Gray, but I'm not going to until we know for sure she's still alive. I'm not getting his hopes up just to send them crashing back down again. I would say we should go visit her, but I'm not safe going outside this house with Rupert about. I say, which he immediately nods his head, rounding up the map and papers, putting them away. It is going to take me a few hours to get there, so I will need to leave now. I do have another matter to discuss with you regarding Cyrus, but that can wait until we've wrapped this up with the king's mother. He tells me going to pick his folders up, but I stop him. While you go and do that, I will stay and read through these. Maybe fresh eyes will see more things and it will be less suspicious to Gray, who I don't want to find out until we know for sure. I suggest. He nods, agreeing with me, placing the folders back on table. Within minutes, I was alone in the room with a bunch of folders in front of me. Things just keep getting crazier and crazier with my new family I've been mated into. I thought